to my channel, Purposeful Play, where I talk about all things early childhood education. I'm Danielle, and today I want to talk to you about family conferences. Not parent-teacher conferences, but family-teacher conferences. So let's get started. Okay, so today I'm going to share with you 8 tips. They're not really in any specific order, but I am going to go ahead and start with number 1. Don't use conferences as a time to bring up a really big concern that you have. That is something that should be brought up in the moment as it's happening, throughout the year, through every day. When you're communicating with families, whether it's through email or face-to-face or phone calls, that's when you bring up those concerns that you have, instead of, sort of springing it on them during a conference time, when a conference really is meant for a time of celebration. Tip number 2, focus on what the child can do, not what they can't do. So talk about all the things that the child has accomplished to that point. Talk about things that they've been working really hard on, or maybe something that they're really interested in. Talk about those kinds of things instead of all the things that they can't do yet. Tip number 3, set goals together. Families have wishes and dreams and goals and hopes for their children, and as educators, so do we. So making sure that after you've shared all those skills that the children are really good at, talk about what the next steps are. What does that skill look like in that developmental continuum or progression? They can do this. If you want to take them to the next level, the next step, what is it that you are hoping that they can do? So having an understanding of what that progression or what that continuum is like, and really talking about what those next steps are and what can be done to make sure that you're helping those children achieve those goals. Tip number 4, when you're talking about these skills that children are really great at and the goals that you'd like to set, provide a copy of the developmental progress report that you're using, whatever it may be. Provide a paper copy to families, so it's something that you can refer back to and have a look at too, if it's needed during the meeting. So provide a copy of that to families right during that meeting. Tip number 5 is make sure your conference is comfortable and relaxing. I've made the mistake of having just little tiny preschool chairs in my classroom, and seeing those really tall grown-ups coming in and trying to squeeze themselves and bend themselves down into those little chairs. It's not great. I know I'm 5'2", so I fit in those chairs quite comfortably, and I'm used to sitting on those little chairs or on the floor, but not most grown-ups are not. So provide some adult grown-up chairs. Another thing to consider too is, and to make this the meeting or the conference more relaxing, is instead of having a square or rectangle table where it seems like you're on one side and they're on the other, it's like you're on opposite teams, think about having a round table. So then it feels like you're all on the same team. Also think about your body language, because that does make a big difference. Are you slouching, which is a really bad thing that I often do? Is your body language closed off, so arms crossed, hands closed? An instructional coach actually gave me the tip to just, rest your hands in front of you, kind of one on top of the other. I know it looks kind of silly when you're looking at it in the video like this, but just resting your hands on the table, open like that. It just gives that the impression that you are open and welcoming. After you've set those goals together, you've talked about those hopes and dreams and wishes, provide specific activities and tips for families that they can do at home to really help their children or their child achieve that goal. You might think ahead of time about those. Maybe there's a list of games that they can play. I actually had done these ahead of time, so I had a whole list. If we knew that their child was really wanted to be strengthening their fine motor skills, I would have a list of all kinds of things they could do at home. Maybe there was more of an academic or content learning area, maybe some literacy. I would have some specific games that they can play, and maybe even a suggested materials list. So having that all ahead of time, so that as you're setting these goals, you can say, hey, and hand them something. These are some great ideas that you can do at home. Some simple ideas, activities that are fun, still play-based, with minimal materials that would be easy for families to do at home. Tip number 7, make sure you leave time for families to talk and ask questions. This might be one of the only times that you see family members in person. Maybe the child rides the bus, or they have childcare dropping them off, or whatever it may be. You might not have that face-to-face time. So really make sure that you save time for them to talk, and it's not just you talking. Last one, tip number 8, be respectful of the time. So if you set your conference time for 15 minutes or 20 minutes, make sure you finish on time. Those families are busy just like you are, and they may have something else they need to get to. Maybe it's another conference. And then also, if you say have 15 minutes for a conference and you have them back to back and you run like 2-3 minutes over every time, think about those families that are later in the day or in the evening and how long you're keeping them waiting. So be respectful of time and make sure you finish on time. Okay, bonus tip, because I forgot about this one. So this is like bonus tip number 9, be prepared with some materials for children. A lot of the time families do not have childcare, so they are going to be bringing their children to the conference. There might be children that want to join you. I've had that, and it's been really interesting to have them be part of the conference and ask them, what they think they're really good at and what they would like to get, improve on, or what their goals are. But if not, that's okay. Provide something for them to do kind of in a different area of the classroom that doesn't require a lot of prepping or a lot of cleaning up. And I think that would be really helpful to keep them engaged so that you can focus on talking with families. Those are my 8 plus 1 tips on having successful family conferences. If you have any other tips, I know that I would love to hear them, and the other people that are watching would love to hear about them too. So put them in the comments down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And that's it. Thanks for watching and have a happy day.